If you found yourself getting dragged off to the cinema to see Sex and the City 2 earlier on this year, you can now seek sanctuary as there's not one, but two enjoyably overblown action flicks to enjoy. Both movies are a sweaty, grunting combination of guns, explosions, exotic locations, explosions, jets, helicopters, lots of slow motion walking, and more explosions. In fact, there's so much rampant testosterone splashing off the screen, I actually grew a full fucking beard after seeing the two films back to back. As a child of the 80s, many a tea time was spent watching such television programmes as Knight Rider, Airwolf, and of course, The A-Team. This new movie actually acts as a prequel to the much-loved TV series. In the opening credits of the TV show, there was mention of a special forces unit that was sent to jail for a crime they didn't commit. Well, here in this movie, you actually get to find out what the crime was. Returning from a Black Ops mission to take down a counterfeit cash ring, the team discovered that the only man who could testify that they were acting under orders has been killed. Cue capture, a military court-martial, and a look at 10 years in prison. But that never stopped the A-Team, right? Now, first of all, I thought that the four leading actors did an excellent job of portraying their characters. They've certainly done them justice to the TV show. Breckenmeyer did a spot-on job as Space, portraying him as a quick-thinking, smooth-talking ladies' man with a big mouth that often gets him into and out of big trouble. Liam Neeson did a great job as Hannibal, but he did tend to overdo it with the cigar chomping and the "I love it when a plan comes together" catchphrase. Yes, I know that these are key characteristics of that particular character, but they do seem to overdo it a little bit here. However, that's not Liam Neeson's fault, that's the script's fault. Quentin Rampage Jackson was fantastic as B.A. Baracus. As soon as B.A. makes his first appearance, you're thinking, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. And he succeeds in making B.A. just as badass as he was on the TV show, although he does end up growing an afro at some point and getting saddled with a silly subplot where he decides not to fight anyone anymore, which completely contradicts everything he does throughout the rest of the movie. Sharlto Copley as Howling Mad Murdoch I absolutely loved. I thought that Sharlto was brilliant in District 9, and in this film he was by far the most fun character to watch. What is amusing is that in this film, what with it being a prequel, you get to find out exactly why B.A. did not get on well with Murdoch.
You're making my van! I'm gonna kill you, fool!
You can't park there, it's a handicap zone!
And you even get to find out where his fear of flying comes from. I ain't getting a no plane, fool! One helicopter ride with Murdoch when they first meet is all that it takes. And of course, just like in the TV show, they have to keep drugging Baracus in order to get him on the plane. Nice to see that particular part of the TV series was brought into the film. You see, this is what you need to do if you're adapting a much-loved television programme into a movie adaptation. You need to be faithful to the original. The only problem I have with this film is this. When there's one member of the A-Team on screen, it's fantastic. When there's two of them on screen, it's even better. When all four of them on screen, the film becomes an absolute dream to watch. When there's no members of the A-Team on screen and it's the other characters, the film becomes boring as hell. Jessica Biel's character did nothing for me. Again, this is the script's fault, not the person playing the character. She literally had nothing interesting to do. I get the impression that Jessica Biel's character was shoehorned into the plot because they realised, oh shit, we haven't got any female characters. So if you need to take a piss break at any point in the film, do it when the other characters come on screen. Other than that, The A-Team is a very enjoyable film, very faithful to the TV series, and I know it's probably not going to be at the cinema at the moment, but if it's still at the cinema where you are, go out and see it, or failing that, get it out when it comes out on rental. It is an enjoyable film to watch. Now we come on to The Expendables. Now the film's main selling point here is that Bruce Willis, Arnold Sweatybugger and Sylvester Stallone are all on screen for the first time. However, when they do appear together, and admittedly that scene is brilliant, it is just the one scene, and even then it's barely on for 5 minutes. Basically, Arnie walks into the scene, him and Stallone share a couple of light-hearted insults, then Arnie says that he's too busy to accept the job that Bruce Willis's character is offering them, and walks back out again. Bruce Willis comments, "What's his fucking problem?" Stallone replies with, "He wants to be president." Very funny. A lot of self-knowing humour in there. Now, having said that, the marketing of this movie, it's bragging about its huge cast, it's saying the greatest action cast ever assembled. But really, it's just Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham most of the time. Jet Li pops in from time to time, as does Dolph Lundgren, whose drug-abusing character Gunnar Jensen is probably the most interesting character in the whole film, and I can't believe I'm actually saying that about Dolph Lundgren. Mickey Rourke is really just there to act as a mentor figure to the rest of the team, and funnily enough he looks exactly as he did when he appeared in Iron Man 2 earlier on this year. Speaking of Iron Man 2, it seems like Sylvester Stallone is trying to make himself look like Tony Stark with that silly goatee beard that he's sporting, although with the amount of cosmetic surgery that he appears to have had done recently, he's in danger of looking more like his mum. Indeed, the film does have a great action cast, I won't dispute that. Stallone, Statham, Lee, Lundgren, Arnie, Bruce. But some of these guys are barely in the film, again, for 5 minutes. The way the poster makes out, it seems that these guys are in the film all the way through. And they're not. The sight of Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Willis, Statham, Lee, Lundgren and Rourke all rushing into battle alongside each other, guns firing, explosions going off, heavy metal soundtrack pumping, would have been an absolutely amazing sight to behold, and we don't fucking get that in this movie. Really, this is just the Stallone and Statham show. And if you've seen any of Jason Statham's other action movies like Crank and The Transporter, this film is hardly testing his skills. This film is a walk in the park for him.
Here, now!
You want the money? Go get it.
What's that?
In a text.
Excuse me? Get out!
Now the last 20 minutes of this film is littered with endless explosions and guns going off, which is cool at first, but after a while you do become quite numb to it, as it's literally one explosion after another. Definitely a case of less is more should have been applied here. But at the end of the day, The Expendables does not really deliver on what it's promised. If it had broken down the fourth wall a few more times, you know, like the scene with Stallone, Arnie and Willis, if there'd been a bit more blokey banter going on between the team, it would have made for a much more enjoyable movie. You know, give the audience a bit of a cheeky wink every now and then. It's just another Stallone action movie, just like every other one that he's done recently. It's just in this one, he's got Tony Stark's goatee, and he just happens to be knocking about with a bunch of his famous mates. It's not a bad movie, don't get me wrong, but they could have done so much more with this. At the end, I'm going to have to tip my hat to the A-Team. Because not only have they delivered exciting action sequences, but they've taken a much-loved television programme, made it into a movie that acts as a prequel to the TV show, kept the fans happy by making it faithful to the TV show, and the 4 actors who play the 4 members of the A-Team all did a fantastic job of playing their television counterparts with just enough slight differences to make the characters their own. Whilst again The Expendables promises so much, but does not deliver. All in all, the A-Team gets a thumbs up. The Expendables does slightly worse, it gets a sideways thumb.